breaking news tonight. The new auto tariffs just announced on all vehicles coming into the U.S. The detailed text messages at the heart of that stunning national security breach now made public, and what President Trump said late today. And the urgent search for 4 American soldiers lost in a training exercise overseas. First, the messages now revealed. The Atlantic magazine releasing the detailed text in that group chat of top American officials outlining specific plans to hit terror targets using military jets hours before the strikes in Yemen. A reporter inadvertently invited to join. Tonight, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defiant. President Trump standing behind his national security team. Martha Raddatz in Washington. President Trump pushing forward with stiff new tariffs targeting the auto industry. Rachel Scott with late details just coming in. 4 American soldiers from Fort Stewart, Georgia, now missing after a training mission in Lithuania. The search efforts underway. Their 70-ton tracked vehicle found submerged in a body of water. The major Supreme Court ruling on so-called ghost guns, a 7-2 majority upholding a Biden-era regulation on the increasingly popular self-assemble firearms, which are mostly untraceable. Dangerous fire weather, 16 million Americans on alert with red flag warnings from Georgia to Maryland. More evacuations ordered in the Carolinas. Ginger Z from the fire zone. The measles scare on a Northeast Amtrak train. Officials investigating whether a fully vaccinated person with a rare breakthrough infection may have exposed others. New details in the case against accused United Healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione and what prosecutors say the defense smuggled in his socks. The American couple jailed in Mexico after a dispute over a timeshare, why they could be held for months. And America Strong tonight, she encouraged him to pursue his dreams in the sky. Now their love story is reaching new heights.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. We'll get to President Trump's new tariffs in just a moment, but we begin tonight with the growing firestorm over the national security breach consuming the Trump administration. The Atlantic today publishing the group chat between Vice President J.D. Vance and top U.S. national security officials detailing the military strike on Yemen. A reporter added to the group by mistake. The White House trying to downplay the potential danger of the breach. But in the text shared on the commercial messaging app Signal, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth calling out times and targets of the assault, saying we are a go for mission launch. Hegseth today fiercely denying he revealed any classified attack plans. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe grilled for a second straight day about what they knew. The White House describing the group chat as a sensitive policy discussion. And just a short time ago, President Trump calling the scandal a witch hunt. ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leads us off in Washington.
Tonight, the text messages at the heart of this national security breach now revealed. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sharing highly sensitive military plans for U.S. airstrikes in Yemen hours before the attacks were launched. Reporter Jeffrey Goldberg had been inadvertently added to the group chat with top administration officials on the commercial messaging app Signal. Today, Hegseth defiant, insisting he did nothing wrong.
Nobody's texting war plans.
But the details exposed in the chat are stark. 2.5 hours before the attack was set to begin, Hegseth sending this message outlining the plan to the group, which included Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and of course, that reporter. Team update, Hegseth wrote. Weather is favorable. Just confirmed with CENTCOM, we are a go for mission launch. Hegseth explaining what would happen next. 12:15, F-18s launch, first strike package. Then writing that about 2 hours later, more F-18s launch, second strike package. He told the group that 5 minutes after that, strike drones on target, adding, this is when the first bombs will definitely drop. And that about an hour later, the F-18 second strike starts. Also, first sea-based Tomahawks launched. Today, Hegseth insisting he didn't divulge any classified information that would have put American troops in harm's way had his messages fallen into the wrong hands.
There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths.
But for this operation, those F-18 fighter jets would have only been launched from one place, the USS Truman in the Red Sea, and Hegseth provided the timing of the launch in the group chat. Today, the secretary refusing to answer questions.
Thank you very much. We're heading off.
Strike plans before they launched. Mr. Secretary, how do you square what you said with what your messages show?
The publication of the attack plans now turning up the heat on other administration officials in the group chat. Yesterday, CIA Director John Ratcliffe and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard claimed there was no mention of specifics about weapons or timing.
Did this conversation at some point include information on weapons packages, targets, or timing?
Not that I'm aware of.
Director Gabbard, same question.
Same answer.
Today, Gabbard under pressure, testifying she didn't remember the details in the newly revealed texts.
So it's your testimony that less than 2 weeks ago, you were on a signal chat that had all of this information about F-18s and MQ-9 Reapers and targets on strike, and you in that 2-week period simply forgot that that was there. That's your testimony?
My testimony is I did not recall the exact details of what was included there.
But so far, the only administration official taking responsibility for anything is National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who admitted he inadvertently invited the journalist to the group chat. Tonight, President Trump standing behind his team.
There was no harm done because the attack was unbelievably successful that night.
But tonight, Democrats and even some Republicans adamant that revealing highly sensitive operational details could put lives in danger if the information got into the wrong hands. Still, the president insisting there was no harm done and calling this all a witch hunt. Whit?
Martha Raddatz in Washington, thank you. And we have more breaking news tonight. President Trump pushing forward with a new wave of tariffs targeting the auto industry. Late today, the president imposing a 25% tariff on imported vehicles, hoping to increase manufacturing in the U.S.
You're going to have a lot of construction jobs, but you're also going to have a lot of automobile jobs. So this is very exciting.
And the president says the move will raise $100 billion in revenue, but it's also expected to raise costs for automakers and dealers, which will likely be passed along to American buyers. ABC's senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is joining us now from the White House. And Rachel, these tariffs are now just a week away.
Yes, Whit, and the president making this announcement just moments ago, saying the United States will now be imposing a 25% tariff across the board on all cars and auto parts made outside of the United States. These tariffs now set to go into effect in just a few days on April 2nd and will also apply to American cars that are assembled overseas. This could significantly raise prices for consumers. Nearly half of all vehicles sold in the United States are imported. The goal of the president here to drive up manufacturing in the U.S., and the market's already reacting. Stocks falling when Wall Street got word the president would be implementing these tariffs. The president did delay these tariffs when the top automakers begged for a reprieve, but in the Oval Office, the president was asked directly if there's any scenario in which these tariffs would be removed. The president making it clear they are here permanently, Whit.
Rachel Scott, thank you. We move on now to the urgent search for 4 American soldiers missing overseas. They disappeared while training in Lithuania. Their 70-ton military vehicle found in the water. Here's ABC's chief international correspondent, James Longman.
4 U.S. soldiers are missing tonight after an incident during a training mission in Eastern Europe. The armored vehicle they were operating discovered submerged in a body of water. This was a tactical exercise in Lithuania on the border with Belarus.
There's still early news, so we do not know the details, but obviously this is really terrible news, and our thoughts are with the families and loved ones.
An official confirming to ABC News soldiers from Fort Stewart in Georgia went missing Tuesday, riding in a 70-ton M88 armored vehicle, which was sent to recover another vehicle that had broken down during an exercise. The US and Lithuanian military at the scene. The Lithuanian defense minister calling this a complicated rescue operation that will take some time.
Hundreds of American soldiers are stationed in Lithuania as part of NATO. They were deployed there after Vladimir Putin annexed Crimea in 2014. Their presence even more important since his full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Whit.
James Longman, thank you. Meantime, back here in the U.S., the wildfire emergency in the Carolinas and along the East Coast Homes destroyed, families evacuated, 16 million people now under